Two men journey to the bars and restaurants of Scandinavia to find amazing beers, always with the same question.
Hey, what's on tap?
It's time to find out.
Welcome to What's on Tap Podcast, your weekly beer review podcast where we review beers weekly
Sometimes
on a podcast.
Sometimes we go to places and ask, hey, what's on tap? But we didn't do that today.
Yeah, we don't really do that very often.
We should do it more.
We should. But that's not what we're doing today.
Not
today we're sitting comfortably inside where it's warm and nice.
And cozy, and we don't have to wear pants.
We never wear pants.
I hate pants. Pants are against my religion.
I know. I really wish you'd wear underwear because you're teabagging that chair in a way that I'm really uncomfortable with.
Yeah.
But today we got two beers, something a little sour, maybe something a little sweet. Should be quite the explosion of flavors, and I have high hopes for this episode of quality of beers.
There's one aspect of the first beer that makes me really look forward to it, and that is that the foam is near permanent.
It's more like a meringue than
you poured these glasses a while ago because then we needed to get some photos of the stuff, and I managed to make a mess by pouring too much in Stefan's glass, so it overflowed and the sticky mess came everywhere.
Not the first time that Martin's created a sticky mess everywhere.
Exactly, the sticky mess usually flows everywhere, but my glass was poured a long time ago, and the foam hasn't even decreased.
It is not dissipating anyway.
It's
got that. So if you suffer from what's it called?
I know what you mean. If you can't look at like beehives or tryptophobia.
Because tryptophobia because of the tryptophobia.
Right.
Because the honeycomb pattern in tripe. So this is one of those beers where there's so much air trapped in the head of the beer that it forms this honeycomb pattern on the outside of the glass.
Yeah.
And if that's a disturbing feature for you, this beer will definitely trigger you in that way. Because when you rotate the beer around the glass, it just stretches those cell walls into a really disturbing conglomeration of cells. It's quite unnerving in that way. The beer itself is super peachy. So let's describe this. So we should actually tell you what the beer is.
Right.
The beer is Layerz from Two Tides, out of
Georgia, Savannah, Georgia.
So this is the Parfait Sour Ale with a mango, orange, passion fruit, key lime, coconut, yogurt, and granola. It comes in at, it does not say on the list. Oh wait, no, it's 7% ABV, and it smells super fruity.
It does.
I get tons of mango off of this. It just smells like straight up like mango pina colada kind of, like mango coconut.
I'm looking forward to working my way through this.
A little bit of like tangerine-y kind of flavors. What's interesting though is in my glass, it's already started to separate the smoothie pulp part from the beer, and even in your glass too. If you look just right below the foam line, there's a bit of a separation or settlement of the smoothie sour parts from the liquid parts.
So let's drink it quick before it separates further.
Cheers.
Wow, that is acidic. Lime everywhere.
There's a lot of lime on this.
Yeah, a lot of
that
lime.
That is not an understatement. This is super, super limey. And if you add that lime with the passion fruit, so key lime isn't just like lime. It's like lime times 1,000. If you've never tried key lime is the most like tart, bitter form of lime I think you can get. There's a pie called key lime pie, and you may have tried key lime pie in Europe, but you've never actually tried key lime pie because it's called key lime pie because you use these things called key limes, which are small limes. They're about the size of a ping pong ball, so they're not very big. but they're super, super intense in their flavor. And they're grown in the Florida Keys kind of region, which is where the key lime pie originated from. And they are just, like I said, intensely sour to bitter kind of flavors. And that's where because I've seen key lime in beers before, but this beer really gets the key lime part, I think. And then you combine that with the passion fruit and the mango, and you're just like tropical tsunami of flavor hitting you.
Right. So the orange and the yogurt and the granola, those are probably they're filler ingredients.
Yeah.
The mango, the passion fruit, and the key lime is prevalent, and the coconut is kind of trying to peek its head through the
coconut
sours.
Is there in a pina colada kind of back flavor that kind of brings it all together. The mango is so present in this beer. I think mostly because the passion fruit is there. I think that passion fruit just pops that mango and it pops that key lime. Because you get that almost piney mango kind of flavor in there. And for me, mango in beers usually is a non-expressive flavor. It's usually there, but you're like, I don't really get mango in this. I don't know why you said there was mango in this. But this is mango.
I agree.
This is really good. I'm super loving this beer.
It's a very crazy experience. The mess that it leaves on the glass is intense.
It is a straight up smoothie sour kind of
almost like
experience.
A stringy.
Yeah, it leaves a very unpleasant gunk all over the glass. That's the real downside of this beer is the aftermath of drinking it is kind of like, ew. Like if you've ever had a Coke float, and as the ice cream part, and you have this filmy residue on the side of the glass. That's very much what this is doing here.
But I am a huge fan of lime flavor, so the intensity of the key lime really appeals to me. I like in my gin and tonic, I prefer to have lime over lemon.
Yes, of course, it's the way it should be.
Sure, that's not the tradition.
It is. It's the right tradition. Any other tradition is wrong.
But I really dig this beer. This is a 4.5 for me.
I was going to do the same thing. I was like, this is a 4.5 for me as well. This is super solid. I'm completely surprised and blown back by this. Wow, what a great beer.
A funny note is that we researched before we started the episode if we've had two tides before, and we've each had 2 beers each, neither with each other. We've had a total of 4 different ones, but there's no overlap.
Yeah, and the 2 that I've had I liked better than the 2 that you had. All right, so next up is the Northern Monk Patrons Project. This is 38.02. It's a collaboration with Amundsen out of Norway and Holy Goat Brewing, and I don't remember. Scotland. Okay. And it is called Gluttony, and they are paying tribute to Adrian Baxter, who does a really cool artwork for the can. And it is a 10% Gluttonous Imperial Stout with salted caramel, chocolate, muscavado sugar, and vanilla. And
it's funny because our little local beer tasting club, we call ourselves Gluttony Club Malmo.
Yes.
Because we like to drink beers and eat gluttonous treats and meats and cheeses and various things. And you just peeled away the label to read the inside, but that's probably just information about the artist, right?
It's information about the 2 breweries and the artist and some other additional information. And then the Patrons Project artists that are added in this series. So you get the rundown of all of the different patrons that are honored.
Right.
There's quite a few. There's much more than I thought there would be. But all right, let's jump into this.
It does smell like pastry.
Oh, it's a huge pastry stout. But there's a lot of licoricey notes to it. I get kind of...
I usually love licorice notes in stouts. I'm not getting it here.
I think the muscavado sugar, which is probably a burnt brown sugar, combined with the chocolate.
I really get the roasted almonds. There were roasted almonds, right?
There was not.
What?
There were no roasted almonds. Salted caramel, chocolate, muscavado sugar, and vanilla.
Salted caramel. That's what I'm really... What I really mean.
Yeah. It's there's a lot of sugary sweet smells going on here. All
That's
right.
right.
Cheers. Disappointing. It's a little thin. Much thinner than I thought it should be. For 10% caramel chocolate, it's really just mostly hard roasted malt is what I'm getting.
That's the aftertaste now for me.
Yeah.
I agree. There's a lot of tasty notes to unravel, but I agree with you. When you call it gluttony, I expect it to either be super thick and rich or super flavorful.
Yeah. And this is not that. It's really thin, almost watery. There's not a lot of anything here. I mean, I get the vanilla. It's there. It's a little sweet on the lips. I get some chocolate notes. Mostly I get this weird tannic residue at the end that's not like burnt kind of malt flavor.
I agree.
This is not gluttonous. And this is like the opposite of gluttonous.
I'm sad to agree.
I'm a huge Northern Monk fan. I'm usually one of the biggest supporters. Love what they do. But this beer is just a miss overall. I feel like they've...
Sinning has never been so good. It has, actually.
Yeah. I just cannot recommend this beer in any way.
I think maybe it's not maybe it's not the roasted malts. Maybe it's actually the salted caramels. There's a salt aspect of this beer that I think we're describing it as very roasted malts. But I'm thinking now maybe it's the actual salt from the salted caramel. It's difficult to tell, really.
Yeah, and I get what you're saying, but it doesn't really feel salty to me. I don't really get the salty part of this.
It's like a burnt.
It is like a burnt.
Charcoal.
Yeah. So I'm going to have to give this a 2.
Wow, that's really low.
Yeah, this has been a real disappointment all the way around. I don't feel I'm getting any of the adjuncts they're describing for the most part. And then you combine that with the thinness of the beer and the underwhelming flavors that I'm getting and the muddled smell. It's just a mess all the way around.
I'll give it a 3.25.
Oh, look at you being generous.
Trying to find the tasty parts of it.
Oh, you're working really hard on that 3.25.
Yeah.
Because you've given worse beers
better
ratings.
Wait, no. I've given better beers worse ratings.
Yes, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Going back to the layers, it is so incredibly acidic after this burnt, very basic. When I say basic, I don't mean simple. I mean like a base flavor, as opposed to a acidic flavor. The Layerz is really hitting all of the mouth.
Yeah, it's so good. All right, well, we'll wrap it up here. You can find us online at what'sontappodcast.com, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, every other place you can find podcasts, you'll find us.
Brick and mortar podcast shops.
Yes. You'll find us in every Walmart, back in the podcast section. Usually right next to the CD section.
We're available on Betamax.
Yes. think of anything else right now.
Betamax was such a nice format.
It was. I was thinking of the
Laserdisc.
not Laserdisc.
Minidisc.
Minidisc. Yeah, I was thinking of Minidisc.
I had a minidisc player.
Wow, what was that experience like?
It was completely useless. Complete garbage.
It looked complete garbage, even at the time.
Yeah.
The Casingle was a better format than the mini disc. Okay, so until next time.
Keep drinking, dum-dums.